All right. Well, I think we've messed around enough
Yeah, thank you all for being here.
for the for the intro.
Yeah.
Did you think I was saying we've messed around enough? It's time to just end the
I
podcast?
was just calling it.
Okay. We can call it.
No. Are you waiting for me to intro it?
No.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find the right time to start
I
it.
think now's the right time.
Well, yeah, but when you actually say it's the right time, it's not, It needs to be it needs to feel more like impromptu.
Yeah. Needs to feel unplanned.
It needs to feel like it fell into your lap, like it's so perfectly worked in the flow of conversation that we could move on from one thing and just right into, let's get this started. Soup.
That was so long.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SMSoup, the number one podcast with soup in the name, but not on the brain. I am Spencer.
And I'm Shelby.
And together, Shelby and I are here to take you on a journey through life's biggest questions. What does the universe have to hold for us? What will any of us accomplish with the time that we are given?
Nothing.
In this life? And maybe, most importantly, waiter, how is this soup made? Shelby, how are you?
I'm all right.
Just all right.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up, everybody. We're done.
No,
Shelby's only all right.
I'm all right. It's the first day of fall today.
Happy fall, y'all.
Wow, put that on a pillow.
And shove it.
First day of fall, so that has me pretty excited.
Okay.
But it also has me incredibly anxious.
Can't with you.
Why? I'm sorry, after that whole intro, I'm the problem?
Yeah. No, I just love that you're always just like, I feel like you do this a lot.
What?
And maybe you've done it like one time recently and it's just like really sticking out in my head. So maybe this is unfair, but I feel like you are very often like, X thing has me super excited.
Yeah.
But also terrified.
No, that's pretty much my constant existence.
Yeah. And it's just always funny. You're like, like so many people are excited by fall because fall means pumpkin spice. And it's like the one time of year that they can like get those drinks, right? And so like people love that. And people love fall because it's like sweater weather. And people love fall because it's still like beautiful out, right? Like you get this like nice, fall has like sweatshirt and shorts hike vibes,
Yeah.
So, a lot of people are like, yeah, fall's great. And so you open with that and it's like, yeah, sure. And then you always have to be like, and then also here's why this thing that is great is also the worst thing to ever happen to humanity.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
That's kind of my brain constantly. Like everything that I perceive as good, I go, there's got to be something wrong with this.
And what a way to live.
What
truly.
a way. Yeah, it's just how to, just show your thankfulness and positivity to the world is to have that mindset about pretty much everything. No, it's not that fall is anything wrong. It's what my brain does whenever there's just something new where it's like, okay, it's now fall. And I'm like, oh, okay. So all the good things you just said, but also, that means like we're in the last quarter of the year. Holy shit. Also, that means in like a few weeks, it's going to just be dark all the time. And I'm going to be sad. Also, in a few weeks, it's going to be cold. and I'm just not wearing shorts. That makes me sad.
I mean, where we live, it won't be that cold.
I know, but like, you know what I mean? It like means it's like good and bad with changing seasons. We're in the transitionary period, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
And like something about it just fills me with a sense of dread.
This is so insane.
Anyway, how are you?
Because we were just talking about this
Yeah.
a couple days ago, and I was saying how I am genuinely, like, I think I'm genuinely the happiest I've ever been. And I think a large portion of that is because the weather.
I agree.
We have eliminated the thing that I think impacts my emotions the most, which is I fucking hate cold weather.
Yeah.
And we no longer have that. I can be outside every single day. I can go outside every single day of the year and be comfortable.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
There are definitely mornings where it's going to be very brisk.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I can be outside throughout the day at any moment and like feel comfortable. It's just like paradise.
No, I agree.
Or the closest thing to paradise outside of island living, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
And here you are, you're going like, yeah, that's great and all, but what if you die tomorrow? Jesus, Shelby, calm down.
Dude, you just asked me how I am. That's how I am.
I have a market that I have to prepare for. Okay. Then don't do it. You know?
Helpful.
Then just don't.
If that was the case, I would never do anything. And I already toe that line pretty frequently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't commit.
Yeah. You could.
No. So what would I do?
I don't know. You sound like you have a sunk cost fallacy at this point.
Oh boy. That's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
I reshared with someone yesterday that we counted all of our belongings earlier this year.
Uh-huh.
Which if you haven't watched that listened to that episode, feel free to go back and listen to it. We literally counted every item in this house for the most part. With a few.
There's some stipulation.
We were like, listen, that's a little insane. We only want to be 80% crazy, not 100% crazy.
We sit there and count every single Pokemon card.
Dude, that would have been brutal. Anyway, and I was like, yeah, we like made this whole Excel sheet, this and that. And I was like, and it proved that probably 70% of our belongings, if not higher, are completely connected to hobbies.
Yeah.
And I was like, so what really am I if I don't do that?
Yeah. I mean, you would just do another hobby, I'm sure. But,
right. Like I'd find something else, but it's crazy to think about that.
It's fine. I'm assuming you were talking to your sister about this. So when we helped your sister move in, we realized that she had like nothing. She has like no stuff.
Which she admitted she left a few hobbies at home because she realized she didn't do them at home. Why would she do them at her new place?
Sure.
So, which I can't process that sentence in my brain. Like that's not how I think, but I understand her thought process.
Your thought process is, I'm in a new location.
I'm going to do
I'm more
everything.
likely to do it.
Yeah, truly. Yes.
And then you still don't do it.
Yes.
But
yeah, she had like no, let's call it extracurricular activities.
Yeah. But it's really interesting too, because then like she just doesn't really have any like stuff.
Yeah.
So like she has all the same items that are non-hobby related. So like a couch, a bed, right? Like all those types of things.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah. No, but truly.
And it's really funny.
And her place still is like spotless because there's not stuff to mess it up.
Yeah. It's funny.
And I was like, wow, how does this feel? And she was like, I could use some decorations. Like I'm hitting that point where I'd like to spruce it up a bit. I want it to feel homey.
Yeah.
But like she's also just so good at not accumulating.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want a percentage of that ability, please, because I don't have that.
Yeah, just a wee little bit.
Yeah. And then we went down the rabbit hole, and she was like, because what everyone does whenever I'm like, God, I wish, and they're like, but your hobbies, like they're trying to validate me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I appreciate that.
I think a lot of people, I would say, while we do have a lot of stuff,
We do.
We have a lot of items.
We do.
Go back and listen to that episode.
It's a big number.
While we have a lot of items, I do feel like there's a bit of jealousy from other people that we have our activities so figured out.
We do, and we truly use those activities.
Yeah, and I think people are like a little jealous of that. You know?
Yeah.
I think people like to slang like, "Wow, you guys have a lot of crap," but it's like, yeah, but you're just jealous.
So you're saying they're just jealous?
I think there's a hint of jealousy.
No, I think there is. I think to like know you love something so much and
to be so passionate about it that you fill your space
fill
with
your
that
life
stuff,
with it. Yeah.
And then use it.
Yes. I do agree. Yeah, because I am team if I'm going to have a lot, I need to be using it or I'm mad why do I have it? Which I do teeter on a line of sometimes I accumulate too many hobbies that I cannot physically use all the stuff that I have.
Also, we have a lot of like video games.
Yeah.
And to say that we use them is a bit of a lie.
But we have set goals to go through them and experience them.
Yeah, no,
you obviously cannot play 5 SNES games at the same time unless we bought 4 more SNESs, which
and
maybe
just had them running at all times.
So more TVs. I think we're on to something.
We should buy a CRTV.
Why?
To like an old school.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Box TV.
Yeah. CRTV, right?
Yeah. You want that good AX cable?
For playing the older consoles.
Wait, but how are we playing them now?
Well, right now we play them through a
like converter
and play them on an HD monitor.
Oh, CRTVs are so heavy.
Well,
and ugly.
We wouldn't get a 55-inch CRTV, Shelby.
Why not?
We'd probably get a 22-inch or something like that. Real small boy. Also, I'm not saying that we should actually do that because we stream our games, so we would have to do it through a converter anyway. Right. So why the fuck then would we change our setup a ton? Anyway, this was just for the
sorry,
for the joke of having 5 more SNESs.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, it's just funny because we have all these like games and we have like they're all physical, right?
Yeah.
And yet the PS5 I play on, and 99% of the games I've played this year.
Because 99 point.
No, I know, but regardless.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I guess I would have gotten through less games, so the percentage would maybe be more like 90%.
Yeah.
But like 99.9% of all the games I've played this year are digital.
Basically, all new games you play are digital because you have a digital
because the only way I can play the PS5 is digitally.
Yeah, but that's good. I think there needs to be balance.
Yes and no. I mean, like there are like I'm not as of right now buying every single physical game for each console, you know? Like I'm only buying air quotes the hits or, you know, games that I really want or you really want, right?
Yeah.
And if I had the PS5 like where like if I had it that I could buy physical games, I would have only bought by now. I don't even know.
Like a handful maybe, if even.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Not many. Like literally every like first party PlayStation title.
Yeah.
It's like Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon. Like I would have bought those physically. Or I would like to have those physically.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a give and take. There's like good from a preservation standpoint, obviously.
Sure.
Because you can't trust what just happened. Concord.
Yeah.
That game that failed.
Yeah.
Sony actually removed it from people's PlayStations. They removed the content.
Crazy.
So if that doesn't make you feel extremely icky, I don't know what will when it comes to digital landscapes. It's very Doom like spirally to be like they'll take it away from you. But at the same time, like they clearly have the ability to, and you just never know like when the time comes what they'll do with that ability.
Yeah.
So having things physically is still good for that reason. Also, people are good enough at creating rips of games and stuff like that as like a means to make sure that things stay preserved. Not to get into a whole pirating content thing, but I think there does become a moral conundrum when it comes to whether or not pirating is like ethical or not.
Yeah.
And when the only way to watch an HBO show is to watch it through the service, and then they remove it from the service, and then maybe you can find it physically in like a box set.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
At that point, I kind of think open season.
What a good movie.
But open season too? Right.
Not good.
So anyway, I don't know how we got on that conversation.
I have no idea.
People are jealous of our stuff.
People are jealous of us, period. Name of the podcast title.
I do genuinely believe that. I think people do kind of go like, God damn, you guys have these hobbies and you love them so much. Oh my God. And you love each other so much. What's even the point of living? And they're right. What is even the point at that point? You can't.
We've got it all figured out.
We're literally the best. We are literally the best. Nobody can beat us.
Nobody
at anything
can beat us. That's hysterical.
It's true.
No, I don't.
Name one person who's better than us.
I can't.
Exactly. It's impossible.
It's literally impossible.
Name a woman.
Can't. They don't exist. No, I get it. Obviously, it's like, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I'm like trying not to go down a rabbit hole because I don't actually have a clear thought. But we always do talk about how people fill their time is a very interesting conversation. And it's interesting because a lot of people get heated about it for no good reason and have opinions about how other people should fill their time.
Yeah.
And again, I have nothing else constructive to say about it. But I do like, I kind of want to like fill a poll. I want to like do a poll of like, and I'm going to start with like the people we know. Be like, what is the top activity you'd say you do when you like finish work for the day?
Yeah.
Like, or what are your top 3? Like, because, like, oh, sure, I could sit here and be like, probably hop on my phone, but like, so do you and I.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, if you had 4 hours of an evening, what is likely your top 3 activities you're leaning towards?
The sad thing is that I think like for most people, or for a lot of people, I'm not gonna say most necessarily. I know if I think about it for too long, it bothers me a little bit. And at the same time, this does not bother me at all. But I think a lot of people will become faced with like the reality of the repetition of their life.
Dude.
And
talk about the actual hellhole of a space to be in.
People dread that.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
Like literally you start to do the math.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize like all that. And that's when I start to get a little bit of dread. Mm-hmm. But again, at the same time, it's like I love playing video games. So yeah, I'm going to fill my free time with playing video games. You're like, what really would I do
otherwise?
Nothing. Yeah. But when I like sit there and be like, oh my God, like you want to talk about living in a simulation, we're like doing it. Yeah. Like literally you wake up, you work, you
genuinely, I believe that way of thinking is why I have a fear of a schedule.
Yeah.
Like I start to peek at my calendar and I see dots and dates and filled in, and I genuinely get the biggest sense of dread that could possibly exist because I'm like, it's all gone. There it is. I'm seeing it in front of me. And even sadder, I'm seeing it on this little piece of technology that's like, you're going to do it, you little bitch. You're going to fucking do all of it and probably sign up for more and have fun. And you're going to want to sleep. But nope, you're doing all of this.
And you think about it when you're like saying like you have 4 free hours.
Yeah.
It's like
quantifying
nobody has 4 free hours because you sit there and go, because you try to like do the thought process of, so like, are you saying that like dinner's been taken care of and like the nightly chores have been taken care of and all that stuff?
I would
and,
say
like,
in the context of my question, yes, because I don't want it
because
to be
nobody probably has 4 hours.
I know. No, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you.
We do.
Why?
That was a really long, like, exhale.
I was trying to process where that might be going.
I'm more so saying, like, we kind of have it nailed down that, like, I mean, we probably eat maybe earlier than people.
I would say we eat earlier than normal people.
But
because there's nothing I hate more. I cannot.
Do they want to eat earlier, or do they eat that at that time? Like, do they eat at that time because they have to, or do they eat at that time because that is genuinely when they want to eat? Is my question.
Yeah.
But like 5 o'clock hits, and we either, because if we have leftovers, it's like we're just eating up our leftovers and we're done eating by 5:15, 5:30.
Yeah, easily.
Or like, it just depending. Like maybe like we have enough of freedom from whatever the daily tasks were that like 4:30 we can start working on dinner, or at 5 o'clock at the latest. So it's like basically starting.
Yeah.
Every now and again, if you're like too into whatever you're doing upstairs in terms of like sewing, and like I'm getting a little bogged down, like suddenly it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's very rare.
It's very rare, because there's nothing I hate more. I cannot understand people. I understand why this happens, but I could never physically do it. Is that whether you work from home or you come home from work, you log off for the day, or you walk into the house and you put your stuff down and then you sit on the couch. I cannot do that, or we will not be eating for the rest of the night. Like I'm just saying that's how I function.
Oh, you're saying that if you sit down on the couch, that suddenly we're going to starve?
Yeah, we're going to die.
You're saying I'm incapable
of
taking care of us if you happen to sit on the couch? That is unbelievable. That is... Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. I make a mean peanut butter and jelly.
You do make a mean peanut butter and jelly.
I used to make really good grilled cheeses, but I think I lost my touch.
I've taken over. I've been killing it.
Killing the grilled cheese
I used
game.
to be. I would burn the shit out of every grilled cheese I made. But in the past like few months,
you've nailed it.
I have nailed it. I've started buttering the pan, not the bread.
That is okay. Real quick, everybody. That is in no way the secret to why Shelby is making good grilled cheese sandwiches.
No, I think it is.
No, it is definitely. It is most definitely not.
That's the secret.
No, it's
sauce.
not.
Secret
if
sauce.
anything, I probably waste butter. So don't necessarily do that. If you want to, and because it makes your life easier and stuff, which I do think it does, great. It does not make the grilled cheese better in any way. No, it doesn't in any way whatsoever. She's lying to you.
The end.
Don't do it.
No, but yeah, I just, if I were to be like, I'm done, then that is me saying I'm done with everything for the day.
No, I'm the exact same way.
So
honestly,
that's why we eat at 5.
I have such a terrible brain and like lifestyle habits that so you weren't here yesterday.
Yeah.
So means I was on my own for dinner. I was on my own for all meals, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause I eat when I eat normally because of you.
Yeah.
So like, cause I wake up before you. I don't have breakfast until you're having breakfast. And then like we if it's cereal, we pour 2 bowls of cereal. If it's egg sandwiches, we make 2 egg sandwiches, right? And like, and it's not that I won't eat. Like I will eventually. Like yesterday, I got up to refill my coffee or something, and it was like while I'm up, I grabbed 2 of the donuts that you had made and finished eating those. Or I would have poured myself a bowl of cereal, or I would have made myself an egg sandwich if we like had the means. I also have been really tired, so my plan from the outset, with knowing I had an open weekend, was I was not going to leave the couch.
Sure.
Like, at all.
Sure.
I wanted to just melt into the couch.
I love that.
And I did. And my lady melted into the other couch.
She got the message.
/ melted into the couch with me.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I love that.
But it's like, for lunch, like, if I'm working, standing at my desk and stuff, I will get peckish and I will get a snack and I will kill a half a bag of Cheez-Its or whatever, right? But if I am sitting on the couch doing nothing, I'm focused on my gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be bothered.
Your
to
body
eat
can
lunch.
run for days.
I don't need lunch.
Yeah.
I run at peak efficiency.
Yeah.
I go into like a low battery mode.
Yeah.
When I'm on the couch. But it becomes a real problem because you can skip lunch. That's fine. But you should eat at least 2 meals probably.
Yeah.
If you're gonna function as a human.
Yeah.
And like dinner is one of those things where it's like I would have just kept sitting there, and then maybe 9 o'clock comes around, and then it's at that point like, do I force myself to eat something even though I'm not hungry? Like I don't feel hungry or anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what time did you eat?
Forced myself to eat at like 5:15, 5:30ish, something like that, because I got up to feed the animals. So by having but if I lived on my own,
yeah,
I would go probably dinnerless fairly regularly.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Definitely. It was,
which is not a good thing.
No. And I literally had the same experience when I was like alone for like a week. It was remarkable how little I ate.
Right, because again, I don't know if it's just because it's like
I'm also saying remarkable in a very sarcastic tone. Like it's not good.
But it's fascinating.
It's fascinating, yeah. Like how quickly I can be like, that's not important.
Right. And you're a hungry person.
I'm a very hungry person, yeah.
So again, it's almost like our subconscious knows that the other person should also eat and
it's a sense of responsibility.
And so
yeah,
we constantly are tying our meals around each other to actually eat. It's funny.
Yes.
It's just funny to think about.
But yeah, I remember one night you called and it was 7:30 or almost 8 and you were like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing all these things and blah blah blah. And I was like, and you were like, did you eat? And I was like, shit, no, I didn't eat. And you were like, did the animals eat? And I was like, yeah, of course at 5. I was like, yeah, obviously they eat when they always eat. I'm just I walked away and then I didn't eat.
Yep. Nope, I made sure to take care of that because I wouldn't have eaten otherwise.
Yeah, right. Well, that's exactly what I did.
So funny.
It is so
dumb
funny.
brains.
Yeah.
I think that's I think, and I'm not trying to self-diagnose, but I do think that is an ADHD, ADD, whichever.
Yes.
I think it's very common with people who have been diagnosed with either of those.
Yes.
I've seen that a lot. I've also seen you know how when sometimes when we're out to eat and stuff and I suddenly feel really sick.
Yeah.
I also found out that, again, not trying to self-diagnose or anything, but something about your brain receptors or something and the way we are is that because you didn't eat anything all day, suddenly the thought of food also makes you not hungry.
Whoa.
And it's a weird switch type thing. Whereas if you eat consistently throughout the day, you might find that you're still hungry, or you might get full, obviously still.
Yeah.
But you might find that there is no impact there.
Mm.
Whereas, but also I think it's a whole mental thing too.
Yeah, yeah. That's so interesting.
But yeah, I saw somebody post about that. Why am I not hungry despite having not eaten all day? And it's because you didn't eat all day.
Yeah.
Weird. Just a weird thing. So anyway.
How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. One thing we didn't talk about last week that I think I either yelled at the end of the episode or as soon as we stopped recording, I don't remember, was a few weeks ago, we went to a casino.
Nope, I don't like how you said that.
Okay.
Run it back.
All right. We went to a casino.
One more time.
We gambled it all. Ah! Yeah, we went to a casino a few weeks ago. And we've been to a casino what? You've been to a casino 3 to 4 times in your life?
I have been I think 4 times. I think this was my 4th time.
Okay.
I did a cruise, a gambling cruise.
Yeah.
So if you want to count that.
Right, when you were on international waters.
Yes. Yeah.
You were not on international waters. You just weren't on land.
No, but you have to go so far out for it to count.
Really?
Yeah.
You think
maybe not international
yeah,
waters?
I don't think international
but
waters.
There was a thing.
Yeah. No, I know. I was kind of being joke.
It might have been.
I was kind of being joke.
So that's 2. Wait,
yeah.
That's 1.
That's 1.
Miami was 2.
We did go to
We went to one in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
3.
And
then this one. I think.
That was my 3rd time stepping into a casino. My 1st time actually doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I went with the intention of, I was like, well, I don't want to be, it was for a group event. And I was like, I don't want to be the one who does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never done it. So I'm like, okay, this is an excuse. Well, you kind of said it. You were like, not even the slots? I was like, you know what? Yeah, I won't be the like, I'm just tagging along and like not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'll put a little skin in the game.
Yeah.
I'll pull some lever. That was my goal. I want to pull a lever. That was genuinely my whole goal of the whole event. I was like, I'm going to find a machine that lets me pull a lever.
Mm-hmm.
Which when I vocalized this to some friends who weren't there, they were like, that might be rough. They're like, not a lot of things have levers, or they don't work, or etc. And I was like, yeah, don't worry, guys, we found one. But that was all I wanted to do. I wanted to pull a lever for a slot. And thankfully, the casino was running a deal where you could just like get free credits by like signing up for whatever the hell. So then I didn't have to spend any money.
Yep.
Which was great.
Basically, we went into it with like, I say $100 each.
Yeah.
Really, I wanted to do $100 in blackjack.
Yeah.
And if I lost it all, I was going to do $50 on slots, and you were also going to do $50 on slots.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
That way, we kept it under $200 spent. Because $50 can go a long way at the slots.
Yeah.
It can also go away in seconds.
It can also go away in literally, you bet it all your $50 credits on one machine.
Yeah, I went through all 50
and
credits.
then they were gone.
In like 2 seconds. And I was just like, why did I do that?
Yeah, I don't know why you did that. And then you followed me around as I very carefully used my $50 in credits amongst various slots.
Which our one friend that we went with, I don't know why I didn't think about this. I'm like kind of kicking myself. I wish they would have said it while we were like with them.
Yeah.
They basically withdrew 40 of the 50 or 45 of the $50.
Yeah.
Because each time you win, you pull out.
You cash out.
And you keep your winnings, and then anything that wasn't one that you had put in from the like balance that they gave you just goes back to the card.
Yeah.
And you just keep doing that and keep cashing out as soon as you win. So if you win 10 cents, doesn't matter. Just move on to the next one. Cash out, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Because you just found a way to take 5 cents or 10 cents or 50 cents or $5 from that $50. And I'm like, damn, we could have walked away winners.
Yeah.
Instead of...
Because we would just win a little bit and put it right back into
just kept going.
The slot. Yeah. Thinking like, oh, it'll compound.
You just kept going, basically. Your strategy was like, I'm going to put $10.
Yeah.
And you went until you basically had none of that left.
Yeah, none of it, not enough.
Not enough to
pay for another. Yeah. And then I took whatever was left from that, which would end up being like
20 cents, 30 cents. And then we
yeah.
kept combining it to give you one more spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So they did it smart. So they were the biggest winners of the day because of what they did.
Because they won $40. They walked away with $40 or whatever.
Right. So they won the casino, in my opinion. So if you ever want to hack.
I think for the most part,
we all did good.
All of us won.
Yeah.
Because all but one of us walked away net zero.
Yeah.
or positive.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was definitely
That's
a win.
a win.
That is a win. If the casino doesn't win, you win.
You got 3 hours of entertainment.
Mm-hmm. For free.
For $0.
Yeah.
And you and I didn't buy any drinks, so we literally did it for free.
Yeah. Yeah, so
we won a penny.
I got one thing. I walked away with winnings of a penny. Which I want to get that framed, my little cash out thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so that was my fun experience doing slots. I did find a lever, and I never need to do it again.
Yeah. So true. So true.
But anyway, so yeah, so you went into it going, I'm willing to lose $100 on blackjack. And this was your first time playing a true table of blackjack?
No. I played in Miami.
I thought you just played electronic.
No, I played in Miami and deposited $100 almost immediately. It was 4 hands and I lost all 4 and it was $25 mins.
Ooh.
This had $15 minimums.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Yeah.
So
we peruse around, we find a table. We look for a table that doesn't really look super intense because you're like, it's been a minute.
I literally found an empty table.
You did.
Which was great.
Yeah.
And as 3 hands in, it immediately filled up.
It did, yeah.
I was like, why?
Yeah. But anyway, you played. Sorry, I didn't know if you were going to say more about playing blackjack.
No, it was just I no longer was the sole person at the table, and then the fucking person who was next to the deal
was literally
kept
getting
blackjack left and right.
I swear, like 60% of the time they were getting
annoying.
blackjack. But
yeah, I was okay with going down $100 on doing blackjack, and like at one point I was down to like $40, maybe, or $30. I had 2 hands left, and I like won, and then I upped my bets to 20 to try and like get back up a little quicker or get through it quicker, whichever way you want to look at it. And literally I like got to 60 and then 80 and then 100. So I was back to even just like that. And
then you bet it all.
And then I was like, it's like, you know, you're riding a hot hand at that point, which doesn't mean anything, but like, you know, you kept, I was up the past 3 or 4, right? Like I won to get back up to 100, and my goal was to get to 100 and pull, but then it was again one of those things where it's like, well, I just won 3 in a row, 4 in a row, whatever it was. So it's like,
might as well keep it going.
I'll do one more.
Yeah.
At 20, and I'll either walk, and no matter how this hand goes, I'll walk away. So I'll either walk away up 20 or I'll walk away down 20.
Yeah.
And either way, not going to be upset about that.
Yeah.
Literally won, walked away with 120, and could have left up 20. And then I had the itch to go back and play a little more. And basically the hope was to I didn't really have a plan, but my goal was not to play.
Don't lose it.
I don't want to lose all of it.
Don't lose 100.
I don't know how much of it I was willing to technically, but I won the first couple of hands there.
Yeah.
And so at that point it was like, I'm sectioning out my 100 and I'm now just playing with this.
Yeah. You were up to like 160, I think.
Yeah. At one point, again, could have pulled away and probably should have, and then didn't, but knew to stop once I got back down to 100. So
yeah, so we walked away.
And that table was much better.
Yes,
that table was a lot more fun. The people were kind of like all, you know,
there felt like a greater camaraderie amongst that table too. Felt like it really was you guys against the dealer.
Yeah. Like at one point, the deal, like, because the dealers, they'll tell you like, this is what the math says you should do.
Right.
Like, you should hit technically.
Which is so interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's because like it doesn't
really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
There is still so much chance involved.
With blackjack, like you have no idea what the next card's going to be. They don't know what the next card's going to be. So they'll just tell you like, well, here's what they tell you to do. Like, here's what the math says to do.
Yeah.
The math says you should hit on this.
Yeah.
But it's like
anything can happen.
Yeah.
Literally.
And at one point, the dealer was telling a guy to hit, but like, unless you have 10 points to work with, nothing in blackjack is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like telling the guy to hit, and I was like, don't do it. I was like, don't do it. He wants you to. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And then the dealer ended up busting out, and I was like, told you not to. And I think everybody at the table at that point won that hand.
Yeah,
won that
I
round
think so,
because the dealer busted.
Yeah, that was a fun table.
Yeah. And at another point, like the woman at the far end, like technically should have done something, and I was like, don't do it. And she was like, if I don't, and XYZ ends up happening, I was just like, yeah, but that's not on you. Don't do it.
That's not on you.
She was like, all right, I won't. And she didn't, and then I think we ended up losing that hand. But it's just like that's just how it goes.
What can you do? Yeah.
Sometimes you just need the extra push to just either do the thing or not do the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and to help you feel better about it. And there's nothing you can do.
Very funny. I wish I could come back. We did like a bit of a history of gambling. Or no, we did a gambling versus pornography, right? Isn't that what we did?
What?
I forget what we did. I said something about gambling being the new something. I forget what I did with that episode. But I remember smoking is the new gambling.
No, gambling is the new smoking, or gambling, betting.
What did we
were talking about
pornography to?
Scams.
Oh.
And technology, and how technology advances.
What advances technology faster?
Well,
Scams
porn advances technology, and scams utilize new technology.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Got porn on the brain.
I do got porn on the brain. Yeah, I had to look a bunch of gambling facts, which of course now I remember none of them. But I do remember that I was very shocked by like the percentages of like people who consider themselves gamblers, and they like built thresholds out where it was like, if you willingly go to a casino, Jesus, who's threatening people to go to a casino? If you like go to a casino so many times a year, that like you will fall into a certain percentage of the population, and like that percentage is only increasing of like people who go like truly on like a bi-weekly basis, if not a weekly basis. And so I'm just like, wow, we actually do fall almost into a minority of people who've gone 4 times in their life.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Just as easily as I, again, could have walked away up $60, I that quickly was back down to like
net zero,
net even. And I don't know. I don't have the stomach for that.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't, and I know most people don't, and they lie to themselves, have the disposable income to do that.
Right.
So people are like, I know it's in the name, they're gambling, but like literally they are gambling like whether or not they're going to be able to pay their next rent or mortgage or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, that just gives me such like an icky feeling. Yeah. Like, no, I'll just shove that $100 into a savings account that gets 3% or whatever, and just be happy with that, because that is a better use of your money than to go to a casino and maybe double it.
Right. Yeah, I don't like it. It's not an activity for me. Spencer, I have one more question. Not gambling related, not anything related, that I thought of in this past week. When you're watching a show, like a show that isn't new.
Okay.
Or as a whole, would you ever say there's a show that's past its prime? As in, if you haven't watched it by a certain time, there's no point in watching it. And it's not to say that I'm here talking about like shows that like, ooh, they were just made in a different time. Ooh, like I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, are there shows that literally like, okay, like kind of where my brain's going with this, but you can interpret it differently, is like, I know this is going to be a little bit like contentious. The show Friends. I'm like almost thinking in sitcom. They're so fucking long that I'm just like, in my brain, I hit a point where I go, if you haven't watched it at this point, I don't know if it's worth it. With the amount of time it's going to take you to catch up. Yeah. That's where my brain goes with it, but you are obviously welcome to interpret that question differently.
May I?
Yeah.
So I would say that there are certain like pinnacles of shows, and there's a reason why your mind goes to Friends as like an older show, and it's because of like its like positive standing in the cultural zeitgeist of the time
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So basically, if you can pull a show out of thin air, Seinfeld, Friends,
Yeah.
regardless of how long they are, those are probably shows that are still going to some degree, there's going to be a lot of distasteful stuff too
Yeah,
because of
right.
the age of it. But
Yeah.
to some degree, those shows are going to hold up and probably are worth your time, especially when you consider that like we're just given a lot of slop nowadays. So it's kind of tough. But yes, there are definitely instances of shows that are like past their prime, and I would say it's for the most part. If somebody's like, "Have you ever heard of this show?" and you're like, "I haven't," and that's when you start to maybe get into a situation where it's like it might not be worth your time.
Yeah.
But it depends.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like if you just don't know shows and stuff, doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Right.
But I think there's enough resources to like figure out like the level, of every show. A good example is like you take a show like The Wire that we just watched.
That's kind of what I was thinking about, yeah.
And it's old and it's
Yeah.
got old tech
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's a little like funny at times
Yeah.
that they're using pagers and stuff, right?
She's licking the floor. I don't know what she's doing.
But the writing and the performances and all that stuff
Yeah.
in the show is so good
Yeah.
that it holds up.
Right.
But if the show had like kind of meh rating, but it was really it had like higher entertainment value for the time, it might be a show that's worth passing.
Right.
Same thing with like The Sopranos. And like
Yeah.
you look at these like old shows that are like pinnacles of that time, and it's like, well, they hold up because the writing's so damn good.
Right.
And like the performances by like the cast and everything are so good, and the beats and everything like that like old tech, it doesn't matter. You can watch a period piece and like they do old tech and stuff.
That's
so sometimes the cinematography can like be impacted.
Yeah.
Right. Like a show Bridgerton's old, right?
Yeah, it's
like the theme of it.
Yeah.
Is old.
Yeah. It's like literally old English. I don't know what era that would be.
She's so annoying.
I know she's being a pain in the butt today.
Yeah, worst.
It's like old English.
So like it looks really good.
Royalty, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's made modernly.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas that show made 20 years ago would like look a lot different.
Yeah.
But still be about the same time period.
Right.
Anyway.
No, I get what
you're saying. I
don't
really know exactly where I'm going with that, but like that also I think kind of plays into it a little bit. Like we get so used to how things like look and feel now. I think that's something that kind of comes up a lot with like the movie club. Like when we're watching old movies, like you can kind of tell just from visually looking at a movie when it's from.
Yeah.
You can say this is probably from like the 70s or 80s. Mm-hmm. This is probably from like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
This is current.
Yeah.
And you can like they have a feel. So
I just find it interesting. I think it's like obviously coming from someone who like didn't grow up watching a lot of movies and shows, and now like you always joke that you're like catching me up. You're getting me culture. You're helping me become cultured. I find it interesting on like where the line should be or is of catching up almost. And like what's really worth it or not worth it, and which is completely a personal opinion, but I just find it an interesting topic.
Yeah. I mean, like I find it hard to believe that like Breaking Bad I find it hard to believe that Breaking Bad will ever be a show that is not worth somebody's time.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Maybe in a future episode we can like generate a list and like we each can be like worth it, not worth it, and debate why. Like I don't know what list we would use, like top 20 shows of all time, top, like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But also if it's top 20, I feel like you're just going to say it's all worth it.
Probably going to be worth it. Probably.
I just think, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, could be interesting in the future.
I do think you're onto something though when you bring up like the length of shows.
Yeah, because some of these I'm like,
but Friends
holy
is
shit, do I want to commit
Friends
to
is
that?
how many seasons, but also they're 20. If you're watching it on a streaming service, they're 22-minute episodes.
Yeah.
No commercials.
So just so many.
It is, but like
for me, that 70s show is like feels daunting, and we're halfway through it.
We're
3/4 of the way through it.
We're on the second to last season.
We're on the second to last season, but it's been daunting at points.
Sure.
I'm like, this is a lot.
But it's also something that you just throw on, and next thing you know, you got through 3 episodes.
No, I know. I'm just talking about it. Maybe an idea for the future.
Maybe.
But
if it's a top 20 show, it's probably going to be worth. And like a trillion things that are better than Breaking Bad would have to come out to finally be like, yeah, Breaking Bad's just not worth watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not going to happen.
I get you.
Will things come out that are better than it? Of course. I don't even know if Breaking Bad's necessarily like the peak, but like it's certainly a top, I would say it's probably a top 10 show, like socially.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's top 5, maybe top 3.
Yeah.
And you can watch that show and literally be like, oh, you can tell this came out in like the mid 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got a bit of a grainy feel at times.
Yeah.
It's not super, super clean.
Mm-hmm.
But it's great. It adds to the charm.
True.
So it's an interesting question. I think, if anything, the problem is that like new shows are too short.
They're all being treated more like series.
People love that like it's just a 10-episode season.
Yeah.
And then you feel like, oh, I might as well just watch it.
Yeah.
And you actually wasted time watching that.
Because really, you just wanted to know what the last 2 episodes were.
Yes, if you want to play into
that
joke,
You need the first
sure.
one, and then you need the last 2.
But literally, like, think about like, so you and I just watched Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's not the perfect example because that shows it's fine.
Yeah.
But like, there are shows that had longer seasons and said more in them than Wednesday did in an 8-episode season.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's not, the seasons are tight and so much happens in the 8 episodes. It's the same amount happens in 8 episodes as would have happened in 8 episodes of another show.
Yes.
That went 23 episodes and still managed again to like do more with that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Interesting topic, maybe for a future.
We literally sit here and go, but it's only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So you get through it quicker. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, but you end up putting up with a lot more shit.
You do.
And like, just because you can get through it quickly.
Yeah, definitely. You're right.
But whatever. I mean, people enjoy whatever they want to enjoy.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm just saying you can definitely tell that TV shows are like remarkably worse than they were in, I would say, like even just like 2000 to 2010 versus 2011 to now. There's some crossover there, but like
I wish we could like,
or 2015 to now.
Like I would have to do some Googling, but I wonder if like basically we're claiming like shows today are, I'd feel like a reason we feel a loss of quality is because so many of them become formulaic that we're just like, basically it feels like a lot of shows are like, as long as I do this, this, and this, it's like people will watch it.
No, that's not it. Well, maybe, but I wouldn't even say it's necessarily that, because every show is kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
And like, there's a reason NCIS has been so successful.
Oh yeah.
And that's as formulaic as you can get.
Yeah.
As a show.
Truly.
There's nothing wrong with that necessarily. It's really just simply the fact that like the care, like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like the care is there or what, but
yeah, like
it's just the level is just not the same at all.
No, I agree.
And it's definitely since streaming like services became like the way to go. Yeah. And it's interesting because you look at like a show like The Wire or any HBO show, any HBO original for the longest time, those have always been like 10, maybe 13 episode seasons, right? So like definitely a little bit shorter than your average cable television show, which is normally half a year run.
Yeah.
Normally had 20 to 25 episodes.
Yeah.
And a weekly release. But HBO shows just had like such a like investment in like everything else that was happening within it that like it did a really good job with those 13 episodes that I don't feel we get in like the current state of like, yeah, this is just streaming services just do like this like more peak television, so they're just shorter seasons. It's like, no, you just gave me slop.
Yeah, I agree.
And I still feel like HBO for the most part is kind of like the pinnacle for original content series / like for like TV shows. I feel like they're still like the pinnacle. Netflix just churns stuff like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, while there's some good, there's so much bad.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Sorry, I just realized it's getting really long.
What a hard stop.
Don't want to cut you off. Jeez, stop talking, will you? Thank you all for being here. You can, find SMSoup podcast on all streaming services if you have one of preference, including YouTube. You can find our socials in the description. We would appreciate some, only positive reviews and.
What is happening with this outro?
I don't know. My brain isn't working.
Just end it.
And we'll see you next week. Bye. We have a movie club coming up. We're really excited about it. Okay, bye.
That's not for like another couple weeks.
Oh, really? Okay, our 100th episode's coming up. We have stuff coming up.
100th episode's coming up.
Just like stick around. Things are happening. We're excited. Bye.